how to guarantee a period of 5-10 years, a time space to found the Palestinian state. But what we have said many times,
so just to be clear,
our
though,
weapons
are
going to be handed over only to the hands of a Palestinian state. And our fighters can be integrated into the Palestinian National Army. Before that, no one has the right to deny us the right to resist the occupation by all means.
This Hamas official thanks Donald Trump for the peace deal and the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, but also offers a warning. And I've been talking to you guys about this the past 2 or 3 days, that this is not the end of the war. I'm the other Barak, coming to you live and direct here from Melbourne, Australia. If you are brand new to this channel, it would mean the world to me if you could just press that subscribe button and that bell icon below. We put out 3 to 4 videos a day here on this channel, so you want to make sure that you are always updated. Let's get into it.
Yes, I believe without the personal interference of President Trump, after giving Netanyahu the chances one after one to fulfill or to finish the job, and he failed at the end to finish the job according to his criteria, the so-called absolute victory, without the personal interference of President Trump. In this case, I don't think that it would happen to reach this end, the end of the war. Therefore, yes, we thank President Trump and his personal efforts to interfere and to pressure Israel to make an end of this massacre and slaughtering.
You have also called on President Trump to ensure that the Israeli government, Benjamin Netanyahu, sticks to its obligations. Do you trust that President Trump will do that and will continue the pressure on Benjamin Netanyahu?
Look, when it comes to Benjamin Netanyahu, we don't trust him at all, and his government and his state. We have a long experience with undermining and sabotaging agreements with the Palestinians, not only with Hamas. I'm talking about decades of sabotaging agreements with the Palestinians and even with other countries, which has already signed with Israel the so-called normalization agreement. Therefore, yes, we believe and we hope that President Trump continue to interfere personally and to exercise the maximum pressure on Netanyahu to fulfill its obligation, first as according to the deal, and second according to the international law as an occupying power. Because I think without this pressure, without this personal interference from President Trump, this would not happen.
How will you ensure that the fighters, the Hamas fighters in Gaza, will abide by this ceasefire as well, and won't trigger, a breakdown of this ceasefire?
I just want to hop in here real quick and mention that the first 250 prisoners, terrorists that were released back into the Gaza Strip, some of which will also be have been released to the West Bank. These are people that had death sentences, meaning blood on their hands, and they have been put back home. You need to really think about that for a second. If that were the case in America, what would the American people be feeling and thinking? Let's be honest with ourselves.
I have no doubt that they will stick to the deal and fulfill their obligations accordingly. I hope that the Israelis will do this.
Just to be clear, that the Trump plan does say that Hamas will have no role in governing the future of Gaza. So you can confirm then that your role as Hamas is over?
Look, Yalda, and I have to be honest with you and with your audience, and I have always be very open and frank in answering questions. Therefore, yes, we are ready to hand over government. We are ready to be totally away from any government or governing body. But when it comes to Hamas as an entity, as a Palestinian liberation movement, I think no one can overcome or exclude Hamas. Hamas is also present in the West Bank. Hamas is present in Jerusalem, in the diaspora. Therefore, Hamas is not only the government in Gaza. And therefore, yes, we are ready to leave the government for a Palestinian body, but we are still there on the ground.
And what about disarming? Because you're talking about a political ideology, but there's also calls for Hamas to completely disarm itself. Is that something that Hamas is willing to do?
First of all, I have said all other points except the issues or topics related to the first phase, end of the war, withdrawal, prisoner exchange and aid. This is part of the second or third, I don't know how many phases, but this has to be discussed and this question is belonging to these phases, and this has to be discussed with all other Palestinians about the future of our strategy to struggle for freedom and independence. Up to that point, first, no one can deny us the right to resist by all means, including armed resistance. We can offer any other modality like a hudna or a ceasefire for 5, 6, 7, 10 years where arms are stand still. We can think with other Palestinian resistance movement, with Arabic countries, with Islamic countries, how to guarantee a period of 5, 10 years, a time, space to found the Palestinian state. But what we have said many times,
so just to be clear, though,
weapons
are
going to be handed over only to the hands of a Palestinian state. And our fighters can be integrated into the Palestinian National Army. Before that, no one has the right to deny us the right to resist the occupation by all means.
Did you guys hear what he just said? He said that his fighters can be integrated into the Palestinian National Army. This is similar to just saying, if you want to talk about the takhlis, just like the point, he's basically saying terrorists have the ability to be integrated into a national army. What does that really look like in the future? Individuals who have had life sentences that were then returned back home have the ability to be integrated into their own national army. As an American citizen watching this video, as a Canadian citizen watching this video, as a citizen of any other world, in any other society, tell me how you would feel if 250, let alone thousands of convicted fucking murderers were let back home and then enlisted into the National Army to protect you. I put my money on the line in saying none of you would be willing to live under those conditions and terms. And if you don't think that that's true, you're lying to yourself.
Now you're saying you don't want to and you will not disarm.
If you ask it directly, yes, we are not going to be disarmed as long as we are not sure that this will lead by any other means to have an independent self-sovereign state which is able to defend itself. Second, there are other modalities. By the way, if the question, this question is again unfair question. This question has to be directed to the aggressor, to the criminal who committed the genocide, as you have done with the Nazis after the World War II.
Therefore, Dr. Bassem, this is part of the deal, though. This is written very clearly as part of Donald Trump's 20-point plan.
We are not part of the whole deal. We have accepted the first phase, which is including end of the war, prisoner exchange, withdrawal, and aid.
Prisoner exchange is a bunch of bullshit because the people that they were holding were not prisoners. Do not let anyone tell you different.
The rest of the points is belonging to the whole Palestinian political arena and all other factions. They have to discuss it together and to find ways how can we move forward by our struggle for freedom and independence. During this time, we can find a lot of modalities to have to lie our weapons down, to have a ceasefire, 5-10 years, to have a truce, to have any way of controlling this portfolio. But again, this is a genuine right of Palestinian people, and no one can deny us. If this question has to be directed to the aggressor, and he has to be disarmed. Its nuclear weapons, chemical weapons, biological weapons, which has been already used in the Gaza Strip and other areas during this war.
What about an interim political force made up of the likes of, and including the role of former British Prime Minister Tony Blair? Have there been discussions around that, and would you be open to welcoming them governing Gaza?
First of all, I am very sad every now and then to hear such proposal, because I am sure that Palestinians, after 100 years of struggling against the British mandate and the Israeli occupation, they are mature enough to rule themselves. But when it comes to Tony Blair, former Prime Minister, unfortunately, we Palestinians, and I'm sure Arabs and Muslims and maybe a lot of people around the world, they have very, very bad memories about him. We still remember his role in killing, on causing the killing of thousands or millions of innocent civilians in Afghanistan, in Iraq. We can remember very well, after destroying Afghanistan and Iraq, he became, as a reward for his crimes, to be the head of the quartet, which was imposing the siege on the PA first in 2003, and the quartet conditions, and then on the government formed by Hamas in 2006. I think all Palestinians, not only in Hamas, not only in Gaza, have very bad and very negative image of him. And I don't believe that he will be very welcomed or will be a very positive input in this case. Again, Palestinians have a lot of independent technocratic cadres or leaders who can do the job in the best interest of the Palestinian people. To be honest, when I hear the name Tony Blair, I can say this could be Balfour Declaration 2 after 100 years. We are reviving some very bad memories of UK and British mandate. Therefore, he can be the second Balfour in this case.
Dr. Bassem, I want to ask you about the strike in Qatar, which hit one of your offices and it missed the people in the room. You were in the room. Just talk me through that moment and how you realized that the strike had happened and the fact that you weren't in the room that you were expected to be in.
Alhamdulillah, we are still alive. We have a new chance to continue our struggle for our people to reach their goals of independence and self-sovereignty. If we were killed at that moment, I am sure we are not more precious than thousands of our children, women, and innocent people killed by the Israelis.
I'm going to end this here. It's really hard for me to watch videos like this when the person on the screen carries themselves as if they have sympathy for exactly what we talked about at the end of this video, which are the women and the children and the kids, because they get to hijack them as the most sentimental demographic that people are in tune with the most emotionally. Therefore, when he does mention it, and they all mention it every single time, the sympathizers begin to sympathize even more. Let me just make it clear, people. The women and the children and the innocent people who are dying inside of the Gaza Strip would all be alive if Hamas didn't attack Israel on October 7th. You cannot debate that. The women, the children, and all of the innocent civilians that have been killed as a result of Israel waging war in response to a terrorist attack would be alive today, Tuesday, October 14th, if Hamas never attacked Israel. So it begs the question, who fucking started the war? They will never be able to say that on camera because it punctures their entire narrative. And they don't care about the children. They like the fact that they're getting killed because it adds for more an elongated war, and it adds for more sympathizers abroad because they need the footage of them getting killed so that they get this international. We talk about this all the time. He's just full of shit because you just saw a terrorist get interviewed. That's the truth. And they have a very, very good way of being trained on how to flip narrative, flip the script, and make it seem like they're the victims. Period. End of story. That's why successful terrorists continue to succeed. And that's why they need to be eliminated. Thank you so much for all your support. See you next video.
Here are 4 ways you can help us grow if you believe in our mission. On Buy Me a Coffee and PayPal, you can directly contribute to helping this message grow and reach more people across the world. If you want to join the inner circle, join our Patreon with different tiers, and of course, our Discord community, which is free with people from all across the world. The links to every single one are in the description. And last but not least, to the other Brock community, I love you. Ani ohev otchem. I'll see you guys next time.